Welcome back. You're watching Aljazeera. A quick reminder of our top stories here. The US says it will provide an additional $75 million in aid to the Palestinians. US Secretary of State John Kerry made the announcement during a visit to the Middle East. He's met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem and is now in Bethlehem for talks with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. Well, let's return to our top story, John Kerry's visit to Israel and the West Bank. Nisreen El-Shamaila sent us this update from Bethlehem.
Secretary of State John Kerry is here to try to bring the Palestinian and Israeli negotiators closer after direct talks started and were relaunched between the two sides since the end of July. It's going to be a very difficult task because so far the Palestinians and Israelis have held 16 meetings without achieving any breakthrough. One Palestinian official described the Israeli stance in these negotiations as the worst in 20 years. Now, since these talks began at the end of July, Israel has either approved or announced tenders for building an additional 5,000 new housing units in illegal settlements in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem, land that belongs to Palestinians under international law. And according to Palestinian officials as well, the Israelis are being very difficult in these negotiations. They're not willing to make any concessions. They say they want Jerusalem as the unified capital of Israel. They don't want to grant the right of return to any Palestinian refugee. They want to continue to build settlements, and they want Palestinians to recognize Israel as a Jewish state. The Palestinians believe all of these conditions are a non-starter for them, but Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is committed to the 9-month period of talks he agreed to initially, so as if the talks fail, he won't be blamed for their failure.
Well, let's get more on this now and talk to Jad Isaac. He's Director General of the Applied Research Institute, Jerusalem. He joins me live from Bethlehem. Jad Isaac, how relevant and useful do you think John Kerry's visit is, given the status quo? I mean, if the Americans can't put pressure on Israel to stop the settlement building, how are they likely to be an honest broker in terms of peace talks between both sides?
I don't think that the Americans are playing the role of an honest broker, because so far they have not managed to agree on the term of reference, which is based on international legitimacy. And all the time they are exerting pressure on the Palestinian side to bring them on the negotiation table, allowing Israel to change the term of reference for the negotiations from the beginning, talking constructive ambiguity, simple criticism of Israeli unilateral actions and atrocities. Yes, I do appreciate that John Kerry's visit today, he promised to give the Palestinians $75 million. We say thanks and no thanks, because in the past 3 days, Israel continued its actions by declaring that they want to build a wall all along the side between the borders between us and Jordan. He also announced 5,000 units to be built in the West Bank settlements. He also is going to promote the division of the Aqsa Mosque, which is the second holiest place for the Muslims of the world.
Okay.
And unleashing the Jerusalem municipality to start destroying houses, including a house which was built before the 1967.
Okay, let me, Jad Isaac, let me just jump in there and just, if I can, get a wider view about where this leaves the Palestinians, because Fatah and Hamas remain deeply divided. Hamas is becoming increasingly isolated by its own people and, to some extent, by its backers in Iran. So how is the Palestinian question likely to play out as these efforts to revive the peace process move forward?
I think that the reconciliation between Fatah and Hamas is a must, and this is a prerequisite for the Palestinian position towards the resumption of negotiations. Unfortunately, there has been very little efforts, but Abu Mazen is going to be in Cairo in the next 2 days, and hopefully the Egyptian leadership now will be able to continue their efforts to bring the reconciliation, the long-awaited reconciliation and the unification of the Palestinian people.
Okay, Jad Isaac, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.